Are there any regulations that could have prevented the FTX collapse?
Guy wants to lie. Many different ways he could fake the data. They somehow fake that and somehow fool the auditors.
In this highlight, CZ reveals FTX's lies and why more regulation would not have been able to prevent the crash. Make sure you watch until the end because CZ has asked all the difficult questions about the future of crypto you've been dying to hear, including why he believes Binance will never suffer the same fate as FTX.
First, you mentioned this point on regulation. In your opinion, are there any regulations that could have prevented the FTX collapse?
I wouldn't say prevent 100%, but it could have reduced the chance of that happening. If we had stronger audit on reserves, on how money is used, how client funds are saved, if we had more of those mechanisms, this thing probably could have been prevented or reduced. It's never 100%. When a guy wants to lie, there's many different ways he could fake the data, give you false information, etc. So I think regulations help, but it's never 100%.
Is better auditing of reserves something you would recommend regulators start doing and start implementing?
I do. So we do recommend that. But understand that FTX has been gap audited in the US, right? So they somehow fake that and somehow fool the auditors. So just in this particular case, I'm not sure. I think those things, more audits are really good, but I'm not sure if they will prevent this particular case because we never know how this one guy will react to that.
How are you going to prevent against that sort of risk of revenues falling because people don't have confidence in crypto anymore?
So if we want to diversify our revenues today, we can quite easily do that. We have quite a large number of portfolio products. We have CoinMarketCap. When we acquired CoinMarketCap, they were making $3 million per month in ad revenues. We removed all ads. So there's no banners, no pop-ups, no other projects advertising an ICO on CoinMarketCap. It's a much cleaner experience. We can turn that back on. That'll give us $40 million a year. But we don't need to today. We have Trust Wallet. We can charge a little fee for transactions. We don't need to. So I think today we're still profitable. We're still very healthy. And we want to lower the barrier, the friction for people using crypto tools. We want to get more people to use crypto. So today we don't see the need. But if we do, we have many products. Right now we're single revenue, but we're not single product. We have many products we provide for free, to increase the speed of adoption. But if we want to monetize those, we could.
And is that something you see happening maybe in the short continues with FTX and there's more fallout?
No, I don't foresee that happening anytime in the short term. I think we're still very healthy financially. We're quite solid. We have a fairly large cash reserves, which we use for acquisitions, investments, and helping other projects. On a day-to-day operations, we're still profitable. So I don't see any need for turning on other revenue matrices. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to ask about this industry recovery fund that you are putting together. Do you know at this point what the size of that is projected to be?
With different numbers being, so it's not set in stone, different numbers being thrown around. I've seen numbers around $2 billion, etc. I'm not sure if that's enough or that's too much. We like to take a more flexible approach where, let's look at how many projects do need this money and how many good projects we can identify. There may be a lot of projects that that they just want money, but they may not be good enough for us to put funds in. We want to help the strong projects that are just in a cash crunch. So we don't know how many they are completely yet. So as time goes on, we need to talk to each of these projects and find out more. Yeah.
I know one of the big considerations with FTX, when they were bailing out all of these other crypto exchanges that were having trouble, was that they were sort of doing that in order to cover up some of their own issues. And I'm curious, watching Binance sort of try to do the same thing and bail out other players in the industry, what is in it for you?
When the industry gets bigger, our revenue gets bigger. So we want to save it. We don't want the industry to become smaller. When FTX did some deals like Voyager, when we were bidding on Voyager, we saw all the data. FTX owed Voyager $530 million US. We were bidding on Voyager at the same time, but we don't owe Voyager any money. So we don't owe anybody else in the industry any money. But we still want to save the good players in the industry so that the negative impacts in the industry is minimized. Consumers are protected, and then consumer confidence returns. Hopefully, the industry will continue to grow.
I think one big question that has come to people's minds is just, if this happened to FTX and they fell so far so fast, what's to say that the same couldn't happen to Binance? And your balance sheet has billions of dollars worth of your own tokens on it as well. So doesn't that make you vulnerable to the same issue that FTX was vulnerable to?
Absolutely a valid concern. I think all of those, and that concern applies to every business, not just in crypto. So I think as consumers, when we're using platforms, especially if you're storing money onto a platform, including a bank, you should ask those questions. So I think those are very valid questions. But in the blockchain world, things can be much more transparent. So we're doing that proof of reserves, which using like Merkle tree, so that people can verify that the assets are included, and we have full reserves. So there are many ways to be more transparent. We published our cold wallet addresses. We are now working with multiple regulators all around the world on how to do this audit more transparently and more automatically. So we're doing a number of those things, but every user should verify on their own. And if you don't trade often and you can hold crypto on your own, do hold crypto on your own. But holding crypto on your own also have certain risks. So but we want to be as transparent as possible. The risk is always there. But I think today, Binance, we have 100% reserve for user assets. Operating assets are completely separate. We have a large reserve for that as well. So I think, knock on wood, we are in a we're in a very different situation than FTX. But just because one company is mismanaged in an industry doesn't mean every other company is mismanaged.
I think one thing that's on everyone's mind is no one saw this, or a lot of people didn't see this FTX collapse coming. And you saw it, you almost sort of predicted it a little bit earlier, it seems, right? You were one of the first people to shed light on this issue of their reserves. What parts of the industry do you think are vulnerable right now? I mean, what's next?
Well, I think many other exchanges potentially may have exposure to FTX going down. Now, FTX going down, there's rumors of Genesis Genesis paused withdrawals, so there's rumors of their liquidity issues there. Yeah. And now Gemini may be affected by that. So there's multiple interdependencies in the ecosystem. I think people should look for much more independent, well-run, isolated businesses, which Binance.com is one of those examples. We don't rely on other third-party loan providers, etc. So, and the loan business is high risk in the industry. So any loan platforms are at high risk. I'm not saying that all of them are going to have problems. A few may, most of them will be fine. So other than that, I don't like this in any industry, especially a new one like ours. There's many risks. Even in the internet industry, there's many risks. In the traditional industry, there's many risks. So yeah, I mean, in Lebanon, the banks stopped withdrawals, right? So the banks stopped working for a month. Same thing, Ukraine. Well, Ukraine's kind of recovered a bit. So yeah, there's many risks in many different places. I won't be able, to be honest, everything has risks. So I won't be able to name all of them. It's just that people should understand that risk is not a black and white thing. And then they should learn to judge the level of risk for themselves because they're more familiar with the things they interact with or use. And that risk management mindset is really, really important. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and always have a backup way. And I can talk about that for a long time.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed that video, click here to watch the CEO of Binance, CZ, reveal his secret of exactly how he uncovered that FTX was a scam and what new regulations he's proposing to prevent another exchange collapse.